I look at Kai Havertz, right, and he's done a terrific job in that position. But is he a goal scorer, natural goal scorer? No. Is he a goal creator? No.
He scored goals last season, though.
Yeah, he has scored goals, but is he a natural goal scorer?
No.
No.
Here's a look at the last 9 results for Manchester City. Not a lot of dubs in there. Not a lot of dubs.
If you told me this, I would say you're pulling a prank.
I know.
You're trying to fake me out. There's no way they can go that long without a win. Are you kidding me?
Well, no, they have one win. Just one
win.
against Nottingham Forest, 3-0.
Well, they're better than Man U right now.
There's that. Silver linings, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, though, how does Pep right this ship? What's he got to do? Is it salvageable?
Has he ever had something like this?
He's never had a run like this.
Never.
No, this is...
Never.
It's exciting, in a way, to see, we've called him the greatest manager of all time. All right, well,
how do you deal with
this?
adversity? Yeah, exactly. How do we expect him to handle this? I mean, how has he been handling it, and how will it look moving forward?
I feel like he's earned the clout enough where we feel it's the player's fault, not his, right?
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
I'm still kind of not blaming him.
But is it like maybe if he had gone through this before, he would be better equipped to deal with such a down spell? You can make a case for that, but
I think I do put a lot on the players, but there are instances where I look at Pep and say, team selection. Jeremy Doku not starting, and you're playing Matias Nunez, who I don't think has the quality to start on this team. Savinho, for instance, is a player. When I look at Savio, I say, is he ready to be playing at Manchester City now? Potential, great, yes, absolutely. But right now, to be a starter, I think he's been underwhelming. And so, Gundogan, they bring him back after leaving. It just feels like this Manchester City side has kind of taken the signings for granted because they've been so strong for so long and they've had depth forever. Jack Grealish is again third choice, it feels like. So I put a lot of that on Pep Guardiola in his choice selections, and then who he's backing and who he's playing over certain players that he's had at his disposal for so long. So then you're saying, is he playing mind games with some of the players? Is he trying to push them? At the same time, it's taking away from who Manchester City can be and who they are. That I put on Pep Guardiola.
The thing I put on Pep as well is, if you have this much talent at your disposal, and he does, right, regardless of the results, this is a talent-rich club. You have to figure out a way to make this team win without Rodri there. And there was a lot of people saying, Rodri, how could he have possibly won Ballon d'Or? Look at what happened.
I think this is his best case for it. 4 time in a row, Premier League winning club. Look what happened to them when that player gets removed from the squad. They have completely collapsed. It's a full-on capitulation since that one player is removed. Now, yes, it's difficult to replace Rodri with one player. You're not going to do that. But can you figure out a system to protect this backline a little bit? Kyle Walker looks like he looks like
ghost.
He's not only ghost, he's exhausted because he's got to go running back and forth so much. There's not enough has been done to figure out a way to minimize the effect of not having Rodri on the squad. And that sits firmly on Pep's lap.
But for Arsenal, when you think about this weekend especially, the Merseyside derby had to be postponed because of bad weather in Liverpool. So Liverpool now have a game in hand. They're going to be rested. It worked out well for Liverpool with City and Arsenal dropping points. How frustrating is it as Arsenal supporters to look at an opportunity like this against Fulham to kind of keep pace in that title race and know that it was a missed opportunity?
Some fans believe that was a moment where Arsenal were out of the title race. I still think it's way too early to say that. And I also don't know that Liverpool necessarily needing to fit another match into what seemingly will be a pretty compact schedule.
I think with Champions League coming up this week, it was good timing. At some point,
Champions League was great for you. But
at some point,
I think we all believe Liverpool are going to be in Champions League for a lot longer, right?
Yeah.
They're certainly not going to get bumped out in the league stage.
Yeah.
So I feel like having an extra match to play doesn't necessarily work out for you. But that said, I think if you're Arsenal, you have to figure out how from open play you have to score a goal. James Benge, who is on our show all the time, said that in the last 13 matches, they've only created a full expected goal at least a 1.0 expected goal 3 times in the last 13 matches. That's certainly not good enough. And now, you know, we talked a lot about Martin Odegaard being out. He's back. At some point, Kai Havertz has to start converting some of these opportunities, or has to start getting more opportunities. It's just not happening from open play.
I look at Kai Havertz, right, and he's done a terrific job in that position. But is he a goal scorer, natural goal scorer? No. Is he a goal creator? No.
He scored goals last season, though.
Yeah, he has scored goals, but is he a natural goal scorer?
No.
No. That's one area where I feel like they haven't invested in that position in the way that you would expect a team who's trying to win the Prem and trying to win Champions League. And from that perspective...
Why? Because it feels like that has been the issue for the last few seasons.
Exactly right.
And what's funny, too, and I'll let you finish, is that Kai Havertz was not brought in to be a 9. He was brought in to be either a 10, a dual 10,
or a shocker replacement,
inverted winger, but someone who was not a 9. Gabby Jesus was the 9, and that has obviously not worked out. So by default, he's been playing there, and he's done a good job of just, okay, let me understand how to press, where to be, how to connect the midfield, how to bring Bukayo Saka into the attacking third, and he's done a good job of that. But as a number 9, a threat in behind, someone who can beat you 1v1 and create a goal out of nothing against the run of play, that's not him. Mm-hmm. And so who's number 2 if it's not him?
Yeah, this goes back to really the beginning of Mikel Arteta's start as manager, starting as a head coach, really, at Arsenal. Once Aubameyang left, there has been no pure goal scorer on this team. There have been countless transfer windows where fans have been pleading with this club to bring in a pure 9. Gabriel Jesus, not necessarily the purest of 9s either. Someone who can play in those channels, not necessarily the guy who's going to push up against, put his shoulder into a center back, play with the goal behind him. After him, Kai Havertz, also not necessarily a 9. Like you said, someone brought in a big midfielder, happened to start scoring, so you keep him there. At some point, you have to buy a 9. At some point, the questions are asked. You've had other scorers on your team. Eddie Nketiah, no longer there. Where is he? He's on another club. He was at Crystal Palace, actually. At some point, you have to bring someone in that can play that role. There's no more questions asked. Some investment has to be made in that position.
You mentioned that some fans believe they're out of the title race, right? Yeah. Now, you said you don't feel that way?
No, it's still too early.
Okay. That's
a lot can happen.
A lot can change.
From
Chelsea
now
weren't even considered in the title race
till March. I think by March, early March, because you've gone through the crazy Christmas schedule, you'll know what the title race is. Is there a title race, or is Liverpool just completely run away?
Going into the season, though, if I told you Man City's sitting a lot lower, right? Would you say, okay, this is the time now, Arteta's 6th season? Oh, I would imagine we would be first place, right? Liverpool, new manager, first year.
Yeah, you would expect.
Yeah, you would expect that.
I always thought Arne Slot would do a great job, and I was very confident.
I don't think anyone saw this coming.
No one saw this level of success.
I thought he'd do well, but yeah.
I also thought Enzo Maresca was going to do a great job. I really believed in him. I did not think they'd be in second place.
Well, speaking of Enzo Maresca, let's keep it in London. A wild one. Okay, so my question for you guys: was this a match that Chelsea won, or did Tottenham lose?
Tottenham lost.
Yeah, Tottenham lost. You're up 2-0, right, at home. How can you let that one slip? And they've had a lot of results like this where they've given up leads, right? I just one off the top of my head is in Champions League, or Europa League, against Roma, right? I mean, Roma is a team that is struggling right now, right? New coach, and then Hummels scores that goal in the 93rd minute, and they get a result. I mean, Tottenham, you got to figure out how to win a game when you're up 2-0. Granted, Chelsea, look, young team. I mean, you got to throw their name in the title race as well. I mean, they're just. For sure. You think they're going to keep slipping up because of their age, or they're, maybe the lights are too bright, but. Man, they keep trying.
Enzo Maresca has not made one mistake since he took over this gig. From the amount of players he had to deal with, 40 players, picking the squad, choosing a different squad for Conference League versus Premier League, basically securing a team where everyone's complaining about match congestion and schedule congestion. Now his squad only has to deal with one game a week. to even saying recently we're not title contenders, setting the precedent. We need to work if we're going to stay here, and that's another reason why I think it's a little too early to call Arsenal out. But when you're talking about Tottenham, you're talking about a team that gifted Chelsea 2 goals, 2 stupid defensive mistakes. This should have been 3-2 to Tottenham, and yet they find a way to lose. And if your manager is saying we're not going to change the way we play, stop asking me to be more defensive. It's not in my blood. It's not in the team's makeup. We're not going to do it. Then you need to find a way to stop your team from making stupid mistakes defensively because you gifted Chelsea, a team that needs no gifts, 2 goals.
Okay.
But not only that, Suze, they could have easily won this game 5-4, right? Sarr hits a crossbar on the corner. Son misses a breakaway, which you would never he could have easily passed it too.
Right.
Goes to finish.
Well, he missed it last year when he could have helped Arsenal win the league.
So I look at the Spurs side and the way that Ange Postecoglou plays, it's reckless in a way, and there is no change because we always talk about adapting. Red Bulls, I go, perfect example is New York Red Bulls. They were so focused in playing one style, one way from minute 1 to minute 90, no matter what the score was. Yeah. And you hope that, okay, we outscore the opponent. But if you're up in certain situations, you have to change the way that you play. And it may not be drastic, but okay, we're going to start a little bit lower. The aggressive press still exists, maybe 40 yards from goal instead of all the way up the pitch. And so
the best teams in the world right now are adapting. Managers are adapting to the style. They're changing tactics. They're not afraid. I think a few years ago you would see managers go into games and say, this is the way we're going to play, and we're going to play this way the whole season. Now, away from home, you're letting the other team have the ball. Maybe you're a high-pressing team. Maybe you're off. I mean, a lot's changing, and you got to adjust to that stuff.